In a forgotten corner of the countryside, nestled within a dense thicket of gnarled trees and choked underbrush, there stood an abandoned cottage. The thatch roof had long lost its former glory, now caving in on itself like the weight of a forsaken memory. The windows, vacant eye sockets of a decaying skull, stared out over a once vibrant garden, now overrun by a wilderness of thorns and weeds. Locals spoke of the cottage only in hushed tones, for it was said to be cursed. A century ago, the cottage was home to the Hendersons, a family known for their love of music and their prized possession, an old music box with ornate, hand-painted designs. The music box had been a wedding gift from a mysterious traveler who vanished as suddenly as he'd arrived. The haunting sounds that emanated from the music box were unlike any other. Its melodies were haunting, ethereal, and deeply unsettling. The townsfolk avoided the Hendersons, suspecting dark magic at work in that cottage. But the Hendersons reveled in the music, dancing through the nights, their minds unraveling with each note. As the years passed, the family fell into a state of madness. They would emerge from the cottage, eyes vacant and skin pale as death, muttering incoherent verses of the songs played by the cursed music box. Then, one fateful night, the music abruptly ceased, and an eerie silence blanketed the cottage. In the morning light, the townspeople discovered the Hendersons lying lifeless, their eyes wide open in terror. From that day forth, no one dared approach the cottage. But the tales persisted, whispered by firelight in the dead of night, of the cursed music box that now lay hidden within, still yearning to play its macabre melodies. Generations later, a family from the city sought refuge from their chaotic lives in the tranquil countryside. The Donnellys, parents Emma and Michael, along with their daughter Lily, had grown weary of the urban grind. They believed the dilapidated cottage would be their sanctuary, an escape from the clutches of modernity. On their first day, Lily, a curious child with a penchant for exploration, ventured into the decrepit cottage while her parents unpacked. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the floorboards creaked underfoot. Cobwebs draped like funeral shrouds, and dusty remnants of a forgotten life lingered in the corners. In the dim light, Lily's eyes fell upon a small, ornate music box on a dusty wooden shelf. The music box was exquisite, covered in faded hand-painted flowers. A sense of nostalgia and curiosity compelled Lily to wind it up. The moment she turned the crank, a haunting melody filled the air. The notes were melancholic, like the mournful wail of a grieving soul. Lily couldn't help but feel a strange connection to the music, as if it whispered secrets only she could hear. Emma and Michael entered the cottage to find their daughter entranced by the eerie tune. They exchanged nervous glances but dismissed their unease as a byproduct of the cottage's gloomy atmosphere. They decided to keep the music box as a memento of their rural adventure. As the days passed, the Donnellys' idyllic countryside life began to unravel. Lily's behavior grew erratic. She would sit for hours by the open window, staring out at the overgrown garden, humming the haunting melody from the music box. Her once bright eyes grew distant, her laughter turning hollow. One night, Emma woke to find Lily standing by her bedside, staring down at her with an eerie smile. "Mama, I want to show you something beautiful," Lily whispered, her voice no more than a spectral breath. Alarmed, Emma followed her daughter into the dimly lit living room. There, the music box played of its own accord, its lid opening and closing like a spectral mouth. The music grew louder, more mournful, and the shadows danced to its melancholic tune. Michael, now thoroughly disturbed, tried to pry the music box from Lily's grasp. But as his fingers touched the ornate surface, a searing pain coursed through him, and he recoiled as if burned. The music box continued to play, and Lily's eyes glittered with an otherworldly light. Desperation consumed the Dauntless as they sought help from the local townspeople. But the villagers refused to step foot near the cottage, warning them of the cursed Hendersons and their tragic fate. It seemed the music box's macabre melody had ensnared their daughter's soul. As Lily's condition worsened, the Dauntless grew desperate. They reached out to a reclusive scholar rumored to have expertise in the occult. The scholar agreed to help for a steep price. He arrived at the cottage with an array of ancient books and arcane artifacts, determined to break the curse. The night was dark, and the wind howled like a mournful dirge as the scholar conducted his ritual. Candles flickered, and the air grew icy. The music box sat at the center of the room, its lid moving in rhythm with the unearthly melody. Lily's eyes were wide and vacant, her body trembling with each incantation. The music box's lid opened wider, revealing an abyss of darkness within. The room seemed to warp and shift, as if reality itself were unraveling. The scholar's chants grew louder, more desperate, sweat pouring down his furrowed brow. Just as the room threatened to collapse into chaos, the scholar uttered a final, resounding incantation. With a deafening shriek, the music box's lid slammed shut, silencing the haunting melody. Lily collapsed to the floor, her eyes no longer vacant but filled with tears. The scholar's task was complete, and he departed as swiftly as he had arrived, leaving the Dauntless to pick up the pieces of their shattered lives. The cursed music box, now sealed and silent, was buried deep in the garden, where the thorns and weeds would guard its secret for eternity. The Dauntless never spoke of that night again, but the memory of the haunting music and the darkness it had awakened haunted their dreams. The cottage, once a sanctuary, remained a place of shadows and whispers, a testament to the enduring power of the past and the price one pays for tampering with the unknown.